And that's when I go back to, oftentimes, it's in one of your most vulnerable moments that you really are able to accept love.
Hey there, we're Helene and Christina, licensed mental health professionals with over 35 years of combined experience. But at the office, we are truly women navigating life's blows and successes as wives, mothers, and more. In all of this, we noticed we were living, but not genuinely alive. We reached out to others and realized they were battling the same struggle. In this moment, we committed to helping others with their messy middle. You know, the part of life where you're juggling all of the expectations, frantically trying to meet everyone's needs, and constantly feeling like you're falling short.
In this podcast, we are not your therapists. We are your friends. We are here to help you open the birthday present called life, the gift you were given but never fully received. We are here to have the uncomfortable, often funny conversations that will lead to discovering you. It is not a starting over. It is a starting in. And you are not alone. We are here to throw a party every week where we celebrate you with the hard conversations that you want, the funny moments we all need for healing, and so much more. So grab your party drink and come celebrate your everyday birthday with us as we work towards genuinely being alive. We promise you will leave our podcast with big thoughts and lots of gifts to become the best you.
Ooh, accepting love. A hell yes, easy to do, or an oomph. This might be a hard one. Whichever side fits you, this is such an important topic. A simple title with a punch of a meaning. You turning up the volume on this episode tells us that you're wanting to know more or that you're already fist bumping yourself because you got it. Either team, like Christina said, get cozy, grab your drink, and let's chat. Because one thing is certain before we start this, Christina and I truly believe everyone is worthy of love.
100%.
So we often talk about, Christina, like giving love, like we did last week. So if you missed last week's episode, go back. It was the gift of giving love. But what about receiving it? So we've been starting out our podcast the last couple of episodes with a very thought-provoking question. One of those mic drop moments that you just talked about in the intro. So here we go. What happens when we learn to let love in freely without fear?
I think this is honestly harder than giving love for most people. Like, most people are good at loving others. Like, they genuinely enjoy loving others. And I think that goes back to the Harvard happiness study of connection and wanting to connect with people. And one of the ways to connect is by giving
Right.
of yourself, right?
Yes.
And feeling like you have purpose. And purpose is giving of yourself, whether you're giving of yourself at a job, you're giving of yourself with family, with friends, wherever you are, right? But accepting love is hard. And I think for every one of us, it goes back to childhood. How was love given to you as a child?
Right. So was it like conditional
Yeah.
or unconditional? And, you know, Christine and I have definitely talked about, like, we try to be friends, but, you know, like we said, we have 35 years being therapists. And
Yeah.
right. Like, you might have that moment that you're like, oh, shit, the love that was given to me was very conditional. Or maybe I'm working on my own trauma, that the way I was given love is not the way I needed as a child. And the hope is that, again, Chris and I always say, like, abuse situations are very different. That's not what we're talking about. But your parents may have given love in the best way they knew how, and it still could have not met what you needed.
Right.
And now, as an adult, whether you're a young adult, middle-aged adult, or older adult, to accept love can bump into a lot of your shit.
Yeah.
So accepting love I think it could be a little bit like bumper cars, like Disney. If you're someone who, if someone wants to love on you and it creates like that response, fight, flight, or flee, that it's uncomfortable, you're activated. And that's what I think you mean by that. Like accepting love can be harder versus given because
Mhm.
you're more vulnerable when you accept love.
Yeah. I think a lot of people who grew up, particularly in the 70s and 80s,
Mm,
love was contingent. And I call it transactional love, right? You
right,
do this, I love you. You do that, I love you. And both ways. Like parents are like, I feed you, so you love me. Made sure you went to school and had a good education. I paid maybe for your college, so you love me.
right.
Like there was that mentality and vice versa. Like we were to show our parents love by good grades, by being a good kid, by being quiet and not seen. Like that's how it was shown. And parents directly told you it was never, you weren't taught necessarily to love yourself.
Right. Because if you grew up in those generations, if you grew up in the premise versus probably people in our audience now who are like in their mid 30s, I think it's a very different generation. And I love this generation
Me
of that
too.
age bracket. But if you grew up in the 70s and the 80s, you probably, you may not have, right? Nothing that Christina and I say is a blanket statement, but you may not have formulated who you are and how you want to be because you wanted that reinforcement that I am loved. So when you behaved or you produced how your parents wanted, it was positively reinforced. If I came home with a C and you came with you got met with a, you could have done better, well, that reinforces if I don't do well in school, I may not get the results. But if you come home with an A, it's like, woohoo, party, confetti, you did great. Ah, so I learned, perhaps as an early child, when I produced well, I received love that I felt good, I felt seen, I felt valued. And if you keep taking that on in life, you may be producing to get the result versus aligning with how you want to be. And that's a messy middle of love. Okay, I'm done with my little tangent here.
No, and that prompts me into my tangent,
Woof, let's go.
which, you know, parents thought discipline was love, but discipline was also often met with either corporal punishment of spanking, hitting, whipping with a belt, or grounding and isolating, right?
Right.
And so kids were taught that that was love. And so when you receive genuine love, which we're going to describe what it is,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what to do with it.
Right.
Like you're like, what is this? It's weird, it's awkward, it's uncomfortable, And I see a lot of too, like struggling with communication. Like kids were just told, there wasn't discussions, things weren't explained, it wasn't described. Or how many adults do we see that like all of a sudden mom and dad came home and said we're getting a divorce and they were like never saw my parents fight, never saw an argument, like I don't know what happened. Like why?
Right. And again, those parents we often find, and Christina will definitely attest to this more because it's more like within her line of work with high conflict divorces in Florida, is that most oftentimes, I'll just speak from my experience, like those parents were doing the best they could do, and they thought it would be great to speak behind closed doors so that the children didn't experience it. But then those children, now adults, grow up not seeing the big communication. And the other thing Christina was talking about is that, like, I think people parenting now are more open to having a more democratic parenting style, which
Mhm.
means you may have more family meetings, more family conversations. You're available for your children to express how they
Mhm.
feel and what they want. You're still the parents, but you are open to the feedback and hearing it versus going back to what Christina said. You are to be seen and not heard. Speak when you're
Right.
spoken to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My therapist uses the term regularly, well intended but misguided.
Oh, can you talk more about that? Well
And I
intended.
love that. And I think that's a lot of times what our parents were. Like their intentions were so good, right? Their intentions were to raise us as confident, hardworking, kind, determined, all of the good characteristics that we want in a child. And they were following the experts at the time. And, again, we are practicing psychology. We are practicing, you know, therapy. We are practicing as social workers. Like we're practicing as medical doctors. We don't know. We're evolving. And so at the time, this was what the gurus were saying to do. And so, like, our parents had such good intentions to raise us to be good people, and yet we're misguided on how to do that. And now, with updated research and things like that, we are able to do better for our kids, our nieces and nephews, the children in our lives, hopefully. And my guess is one day they will learn that some of the things that we do are wrong and we'll do better. I fully intend my kids to come back to me and go, that was not good. That was problematic. That hurt me. And they're right. And my job as a parent is to listen, honor that, own that, not justify it, own it, and apologize for it so that we can genuinely make amends and I can do better when I learn better. So, that's the other thing I would say is we are as good as the information we have until we learn better.
And you're open to it.
Yeah. And so learning how to accept love is learning every day how to do better. And it is a hard thing. It is an evolutionary process. We don't expect when you finish this episode that you're going to have it down because truth is, we don't even fully have it down. Like we are evolving every day. Last week, Helene and I were just having random conversations about our marriage and our family and realizing some of our evolutions in accepting love from our spouses and loving our spouses, where we were both having some aha moments of going, oh, wow, yeah, and validating in a positive way. We were not bashing our husbands. We were not putting our husbands down. Like we genuinely love them. And we were just realizing some things that were epiphanies for us in a good way.
And also, like I'll always say, like, and accepting love is hopefully, if you're in a healthy relationship, they can accept the hard parts, the healthy parts, and the in between. Like, I feel incredibly loved that after 30 years, like, there's still that part of me that's, she comes out again, the little uptight, neurotic Jewish type A person. And there's grace held for it. Like, Ryan knows the parts of me where I just go all into that. And he just lets me ride that wave without judgment, without trying to shift it. He knows that's who I am. Just like if there's certain things about him, if he, like he started playing pickleball. And one thing that is like a huge, great thing about Ryan, if you know about him, like he will research it to the nth degree. So he's like YouTubing it, he's all in. And I might lose him a little bit, like watching it and learning it and strategizing. Like that's just how his brain is. So when you accept love, it's also without judgments.
So, yes, 100%. And similar to you, I get on these tangents of projects. I'm on one right now.
Which is probably why I love you, right? I even said to you, there's parts of you that's like Ryan. That's what gets
right. And
more.
so, like, I just jumped full force last week into a major project at our cabin. And now Ethan is finishing it up for me because I had to come back and work. And he is always so good to like do. I get the big picture and I get going. And then he kind of comes behind me and like cleans it up and organizes it and finishes it. Like that's what I would say. He's really good at finishing it. And it's why we work well together, right?
Right. And I think the beautiful part about that story is that when you are willing to accept love, you're willing to be courageous.
So I think we need to go back.
Okay.
And talk about what accepting love looks like. Like, what does it look like? Because I think people are like, oh, I can accept love. Like somebody gives me a compliment. I've learned from Grandma Jean to say thank you for it. I've learned to just say, I appreciate you, or that kind of thing. Or, when we look at Gary Chapman's Five Languages of Love, I'm okay if my husband does acts of service. I know my husband needs his physical needs met, like that kind of thing. But we're
Mm,
really pushing our
mhm.
friends here to dig deeper. We're not looking at the surface shit. That's great. That's a good starting point.
Yeah.
But we're challenging you to a deeper level of accepting love. Like you're sitting on the surface and hey, thank you from a compliment. First step, often the hardest. But how do you genuinely accept love? And I think oftentimes it's when we are maybe in our weakest or most vulnerable moment and
Mhm.
all of our facades, covers, walls are down and we
Mhm.
literally have no other option. I think that's when people learn how to genuinely accept love. Like you gotta hit a point of realizing you aren't fucking superwoman and you can't do everything yourself because women try to do everything on their own, are terrible at not asking for help, are like a superwoman. I keep
Mhm.
saying it, but it's true. Like we are determined to do everything ourselves and believe that we have to do it on our own because that's what tons of generations before us. And we struggle to accept that love.
Yes. And I know I've shared this before, and it's a really vulnerable space for me to even say it. Like when I think of like, if you go, if someone gives a compliment and I say, thank you, like I accept the compliment, accept the loving moment that they see something in me. Thank you. Grandma Jean taught me that. But when I think about like going under the surface, and I've shared this story before that, I allowed my hair falling out as like a brutal, painful thing, right? I did not have the courage. I think also like my kids being young at the time when I lost all my hair and my daughter expressing at the time that she was terrified of me losing my hair. Like I just could not like shave it all off.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a friend, I had a lot of friends that they pushed harder than I pushed them away, right? They pushed at me harder than I pushed them. And one friend in particular, she just kept saying, like, "Get over your shit, Helene. I love you, and I'm gonna do the things, and I'll risk you being mad at me because I trusted our friendship will be okay at the end of this." And I was like, "No," until one day, like, I was feeling okay after a chemo treatment, and I did come to the office for a couple hours. My kids were at school, and she came to my house
Mm-hmm.
and cleaned everything up because she was there a week before, and she saw strands of my hair everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't tell her no, right?
Right.
And she risked me being mad at her
Mm-hmm.
and trusting the love and the length and the loyalty and the longevity of our friendship would
Mm-hmm.
be okay at the end of it. And while my family received a ton of love and support during that, like that moment was pure love. And like my chest is pounding as I'm talking about it. Like I
Mm-hmm.
accepted it. And it was at that moment hard. And now I'm so grateful
Mm-hmm.
that I allowed myself the courage and to trust, right? Because when you allow yourself to accept the love, you're essentially saying, I trust you. I
Yeah.
trust you.
And her love was bigger than your fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was willing to risk whatever, because she knew me being a hothead before. She knew I couldn't then, but she risked it because she was going to give it and I allowed myself. So that's being like really like I think it took a lot of courage for me to accept it and I had to trust the process. So that's what I think when we're talking a little bit or when you're saying it's not just the surface shit of accepting the love. Like, oh, someone appreciated me. They sent me the $5 like, gift card to go get Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Right.
Like it's more than that. It's being vulnerable. It's trusting.
Mm-hmm. And it's scary. It is so scary. Maybe you've had past trauma. Maybe you've had a relationship where you've been rejected without understanding why.
Like, do you mean if someone accepted love, but then it ended and they didn't get the closure, you mean?
Correct. Correct. Like a relationship abruptly ended. It could be a work relationship. It could be an intimate relationship. It could be, any type of relationship, but it left you without having that closure or understanding.
Right.
So you don't know if you can trust again.
Yeah.
And accepting love is really all about trust, feeling safe to be the raw, vulnerable, messy, awkward, weird self that is in all of us.
Say that
All of
again.
us.
All of us.
We all have that person that nobody sees on the outside.
And if you're someone who loves to give and now you're on the other side, it is very uncomfortable.
Yeah. One of my greatest teachers of accepting love has been my daughter. Yes. Svea loves fiercely and up until like middle school, as we're walking into it, unabashedly, I would say. Like she doesn't, like when I look at her, she has a best friend that she has had since preschool.
Right.
He is her closest, dearest friend. They are now walking into middle school, and, middle school starts the, are you heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, all that stuff. And so, like, people have been like, is he more than a friend? And she gets so angry and uncomfortable with that because it is truly a pure friendship. I mean, I don't know what the future holds for them. Of
Right.
course, his mom and I kind of have secret hopes. But right now, it is the most purest, innocent friendship. And she genuinely loves him, and he genuinely loves her as a friend, and it's just precious. And so watching the two of them care for each other, they're both awkward in the best of ways.
Sure.
They're both nerdy in the best of ways, but they can share anything with one another and it stays with the two of them. They have this incredible trust, and they trust that when they are apart, the other one is going to honor them and dignify them, right? Like if somebody says something bad about them, they don't engage it, they don't, they're just true friends. And I think that is love. Love is that, I think of the meme when you're in a crowd or you're not in the room. Sorry, I said that wrong. When you're not in the room and your friends are, how do they speak behind your back, right? And if they're the ones to have your back, if they're the ones to speak of how amazing you are, even when you're not there to hear it or find out or to get back to you, like that's somebody who genuinely loves you.
And I also think I want to go back to the Sabea moment with her BFF. If you're listening to this and you are having those moments that I struggle with accepting love, and yet there was a part of you, an earlier version of you that may have had a beautiful friendship like Savea and knew how to accept it then, spend some time with her or him.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to that younger version, the part of you that wasn't hurt, wasn't scared, that accepted love more freely. Get more in connection with them and how they felt and what they did to allow it. And also, I think also investigate a little bit about what that connection was with the other person, because it will teach you a lot. Because whether, there's like a version of Savea and this friend later on in life that's different, the pivotal moment of the beauty of that connection, that friendship, can be the plethora of information of something that she may lean into of what she wants and expects and longs for in future relationships. So I would say,
Right.
go back to if you have an earlier version of like a Savea, I say that in quotes, within you, talk to him or her, sit down with them on a park bench and just say, how did you do that? How did that make you feel? What allowed you to do that? What did you receive from the other person? What did you like? Spend some
And
time with them.
yeah, I mean, what was it about that friendship that made you feel secure and loved? Like, what were you receiving? I think that's huge. What were you receiving that you were able to absorb it? And what made you feel safe and trusting?
Thank you, Savea. You have a lot of people that you bring into that you're like, "Huh," like, that one version with your primary care doctor. Like, we're getting
Yeah.
gifts from other people, and I love that.
Ugh. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm tribal. I'm a connection girl, right?
Mhm.
So I think, it's allowing yourself to feel the joy and connection. And I think it goes two parts without guilt
Yeah.
and without needing to give back. I think that's
Say that
twofold. And
again.
I think guilt often drives the need to give back. But
Mhm.
if you can genuinely accept love, you can accept the gift this person is giving you
Mhm.
without needing to feel guilty and shameful over it and without needing to give back. So, not doing that transaction. You loved me, so now I need to love you. When your beautiful friend
Mhm.
helped you face the fear of your hair, she didn't expect you to then go over to her house and do something or help her with something or care for her. The expectation was this is the gift, no strings attached,
Mhm.
done. Done. It's over. I think of when I had to accept Julie's love. I had a major surgery, and
Mhm.
Julie flew down to care for me and help care for me. And I will never forget the first night she slept in my bed with me.
Mhm.
And Ethan, we lived in Florida. We had like an upstairs kind of mother in law suite slash spare bedroom area.
Yep.
And I think we called it mother in law suite because Joni mostly stayed there. And Ethan and the kids went up there and like he kept it fun. Like they watched movies and then they had like a slumber party up there. And Julie stayed in my room with me and helped me throughout the night. Like she woke me up and gave me my medication. She helped me shower. Like she helped me get up to go to the bathroom. Like all of that stuff
Right.
with zero expectations in return. Like it was just T, I'm coming. My family calls me T for Tina. T, I'm
Mhm.
coming to love you, period. And, as I've shared over many, many episodes, how safe I feel and trust Julie implicitly. And so I was able to accept her love in a beautiful way. And my husband also loved me, maybe not in that moment, an intimate way,
Mhm.
but by caring for the kids and keeping them happy and positive because my mother heart was at peace of like knowing I could heal my body.
And he didn't have the expectation. And I think the piece about like, Julie coming down, there was already this incredible like longevity, loyalty, and life of love. But when she did that, she's like, Tia, I'm coming down. Kind of like my friend Jen was like, I don't care what you say. I'm coming to your house to take care of you.
Right.
The fact that we're talking about those instances where I think we both are incredibly fortunate and wealthy women that we've had many people throughout our life love on us, I would say. That we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
these two very powerful situations
Mm-hmm.
that at least I would say even strengthened the connection, the friendship, even though it was already strong. Like I allowed it and I allowed it to even grow by accepting the love that she wanted to sprinkle onto me and my family.
Right. Right. And that's when I go back to oftentimes it's in one of your most vulnerable moments that you really are able to accept love, really are able to, you know,
Yeah, your defenses are
when,
down.
how many women it's when their husband walked out the door and they're having to figure out what that looks like. Maybe they do have a job, maybe they don't, and they've been a stay at home mom and they have to reinvent their career or figure out a career or all of those things or a major loss, whether it was a loss of a child or a loss of somebody close to you or a loss of your parent that you weren't anticipating.
Right.
And in your most vulnerable moment, who came to you and cared for you, who loved you with no expectations in return, you
Right.
know? Or if you were in a healthy, intimate relationship, that partner, even the moments of like, I think of when I've had the flu and it might just be my husband holding my hair in a ponytail because I didn't have time to grab a ponytail holder and I'm throwing up, right?
Right.
Kind of a gross moment, but just being there with you with no judgment, maybe rubbing your back if you want that. If you are like me and you don't want to be touched, it's literally just holding my hair, but honoring what you need in that moment.
And you
Uh,
allow that visibility. I think the beautiful part is that when, most humans don't like to be vulnerable, but when you are vulnerable and the person who wants to love on you sees it, and not in a way to take advantage of it, but they see it and you allow yourself to be seen, you invite the space of trust and connection.
yeah. And it becomes a beautiful intimacy to be able to share that genuine, authentic love with somebody.
Right.
And I would say it requires you to believe that you are worthy of love, that
Agree.
and it's not deserving. I didn't say deserving, I
Right.
said worthy. And I think there's a big difference. And deserving goes back to transactional. Worthy is there's nothing you can do to earn it. Like you just
You just
are.
are.
Look at
Right.
us.
Which goes right back to our opening statement. You and I
Yeah.
truly believe everyone is worthy of love.
And understanding that you're not perfect because there's no perfect person out here and you don't have to be perfect to be loved.
Say that again, because I know people are going to be like, what'd she just say? Say that again.
You do not have to be perfect to be loved because that's an unrealistic, impossible expectation.
So even if you were told that, right? If you did grow up at home, that there was expectations, whether they were said or not said, like you are going to go to law school, you are going to be a doctor, you are going to take over the family practice, you are going to marry, whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
that was given to you. We are saying it doesn't, that's a belief that was given to you. And if we're challenging and breaking through that belief system and that you are hearing this for the first time, put this louder. You are worthy of love. It is not transactional. It is not that you have to deserve it. It's not that you earn it. Being human, to have it, it's your birthday means you already are here and
Mm-hmm.
you're worthy of being loved.
Yes. Yes. And letting go of that fear that love will be taken away from you because we believe it's transactional. And letting go of that requires a level of bravery because what you're saying to yourself is, I'm worthy of being seen, I'm worthy to be cared for, and I matter.
Yeah.
It's not a weakness, it's becoming whole in who you are. So we challenge you to take that giant leap of bravery, and you will fly, I promise. Understand that love can't be taken away. Like that moment, that memory of love cannot be taken away. Like maybe somebody who genuinely showed love is not in your life right now. It doesn't take away that moment that
Right.
you were loved. And it doesn't mean that you can't be loved now.
Right. Don't diminish or dismiss an experience that you connected and that you had just because today it doesn't feel or look the same. What
Right.
you had was absolutely real. And we don't get to go back in time and erase it. It is,
No.
it was right.
You know, when people can learn how to genuinely accept love,
Mm.
their transformation is just powerful and beautiful. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I love the word awesome because accepting love means that your relationships are stronger. You pruned the ones that are life suckers And you're healing the inner wounds. Maybe it is what you didn't get when you were a kid, or maybe it was a traumatic moment that stopped you from feeling like you could accept love.
And when you say it's transformative, it reminds me of someone I knew, and she had gone through a really hard season of life. And as she healed, and I met her again at the other side of it, like I knew her before, the middle, and the after. Like one day I saw her, and like, whoa, I'm like, you're vibrant. Like your energy is just electrifying. I'm like, it has clicked. The work, the belief, all the stuff that you've been doing, like you just be careful when you get out there in the world, because like
Yes.
people are going to see it and they're going to come
100%.
at you. And like, it's kind of a funny story. I remember one time she called me and she's like, oh my gosh. And she goes, I think I just got hit on. Well, I thought she said she got hit, right? So I'm like, were you in a car accident? Like, where are you? I'll pick up the kids. Are you okay? She's like, no, like, remember you told me to be careful? Like, my energy is really good because I think I just got hit on in the store. And I was like, oh, you're good.
Oh, I love that.
I know.
Yeah. Of just realizing, it
Yes.
goes back to what you put out in the world, you receive, right? So if you're putting out walls and I'm not lovable and I'm not good, guess how people treat you? If you put out, I am worthy, I'm worthy of love, I matter, then guess how people treat you? And so it is absolutely transformational because your relationships become healthier, you become healthier, you have emotional resilience. Like you don't let little shit get to you because you aren't even noticing it. Like it isn't even on your radar.
Right.
And I think ultimately you become a better giver of love yourself. Right? I think this ties in really every episode we have done to date. That if you can genuinely accept love, all the other tools we've given you in the episodes will come easily because you love and honor yourself and you allow others to love and honor you.
I love that. So to spin off of that, what I hear you saying is that when you truly allow yourself to accept love, you can have healthy boundaries. You can communicate what your sexual needs are. You know what you want your wrapping paper to look like. They do all tie into this. So this is a repeat on repeat episode for
Yeah,
all.
you can figure out what's going on with your body in perimenopause or menopause and give it the tools that it needs. Absolutely. So, our challenge today to our friends listening is what would you change if you allowed yourself to accept love fully? Like what would you change in yourself to accept love fully?
It's a big question. All right. So you're asking everyone if there's something that you needed to change or be willing to change so you can fully accept love, what might that be?
Yeah.
I like.
And I think, Helene is really good at giving us kind of journal thought-provoking ideas and things like that. And as we process this, we really want you to sit with practicing accepting love. We don't expect you today to just walk out there and be like, "Hey world, I'm accepting your love. I'm ready." It's an evolution, and I said that at the beginning.
Yep.
So, Helene, can you share with our audience kind of some ways that they can practice accepting love?
Oh, gives me the thought provoking question. Ways to accept love. Well, if accepting love is really hard for you, you may have to expose yourself to the concept of the idea of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if right now you're sitting on team A, that's like, oh, hell no, I can't accept love. I struggle with that. This is an episode that's calling my name. They want me to try it. What do I do? And you want to be on like team B, that's like, yeah, go bold. I'm going to accept love. You may even just have to write it on a piece of paper. I am worthy of accepting love, right?
Yeah.
Because Christina and I may have given you a concept, a belief that might be busting through things that have been ingrained in you. So if you need to expose yourself to that new belief, write it out. Say it every day. When you go into different spaces, whether you're going into your house, whether you're walking into the office, just have that little voice inside of you say, hey, you're worthy of love. And
Mhm.
hopefully over time, it'll get louder. It may not be a whisper. Allow yourself with the belief system to say, accepting love is not a weakness.
Mhm.
It's an act of courage and trust.
Right. And I
Ex-
think you also gave the audience at the beginning of going back when I was sharing about Svea's friendship, about journaling of moments of love that you've received. Like as a child, was there someone who genuinely loved you? Was it a peer? Was it a teacher? Was it an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent? Maybe it was your parents, which would be really awesome. But,
Mhm.
really genuinely sit with yourself and asking, what did that love look like? What made me feel safe? What did they do or say that made me know I was loved? So
I love
that kind of how you accept love and what you need to accept love.
Because then I think as you get in connection with that version of you and that relationship that goes back to that word that you keep saying is really powerful, safe, you can then bring that part of you forward, right? She may have had, or he may have had experiences after that connection that were
Mhm.
full of hurt, betrayal. But if you have that one place, she or he may help guide you as you get curious and back in connection with them.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I love that.
And realizing that receiving love is not a weakness, it's trust. It's
Mhm.
trust. Like safety is because you trust. You feel safe because you trust.
Right.
And it's not transactional, it's not conditional, it's not something we earn. It's something that we are worthy of.
And just is
Mhm. It just is.
when it's healthy. Yes.
Yes.
Woo, lots of gifts. We promise gifts. And I think we deliver. It's like Christmas every time with our episodes, I hope.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, friends, we are giving you an invitation and we are challenging you in the most beautiful of ways because friendship is challenging each other to be our best versions of ourselves, right? A genuine friend challenges you to be your best and encourages you. Challenge isn't like a competition, it's
No.
encouraging. Like, I believe you and I know you can. And so I'm challenging you to do something. And this week it is learning how to accept love more openly, really absorbing it, trusting the person that's giving it to you. Maybe it starts with saying yes to help.
Mm.
Maybe it starts with not brushing off a compliment. Maybe, and more importantly, and probably the best thing you can do, is putting your hand over your heart and saying, I am worthy of being loved.
Mm.
I'm worthy. We are hoping that you really genuinely practice letting love in this week and beyond because you are worthy of love. Everybody is worthy of love. So, our hope for you is that this week is spent feeling loved, realizing that you are worthy of love, and allowing others to love you. Thank you, friends. And as always, if you loved this episode,
Mm.
share it with others. If you have somebody in your life who either has taught you how to accept love or you would love to give a loving, encouraging challenge to accept love, share this episode. And as always, you can find us on Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Pinterest. And every Monday, we drop the gifts from the couch where Helene and I offer you some wisdom or encouragement throughout your week. Until then, have a happy birthday.